Hey, did you miss me? Before we begin, I just want to thank you guys for all the support I got in my previous video. It blew up, like, way more than any of my other videos. It actually even beat out that annoying ass Jacksepticeye video that's been haunting my channel for years. So I mean, thanks guys. And I loved reading your comments, whether they were counter-arguments, praise, facts, or even memes. And in this video, I'm going to further explore the story of FNaF through the lens of the context provided by my previous theory. So without further ado, let's begin. The character I want to analyze in this video in particular is William, because if he did truly kidnap Michael and run experiments on him in '83, then everything we thought we knew about his origins is completely thrown out the window. We know that William Afton's main motivation for doing what he does is remnant. He wants it, he needs it, he craves it, he kills for it. And we know his introduction to the substance is what kicks off his character arc, but if my theory is correct and he was experimenting with all this stuff pre-bite, then his relationship with remnant must go way back. So, when did he encounter it? Well, to figure that out, we're gonna have to hop forward in time all the way to Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. In that game, you can collect therapy logs that document the recovery of two patients, one labeled with the number 71 and the other with the number 46. Throughout the recordings, we're given glimpses into a sad, dramatic backstory that plagues these two patients. We're given a story of a custody battle between two parents over a kid. The father would tell lies about the mother, and he would force his kid to do the same. After the mother eventually lost the custody case, it's implied she killed herself. Though, we quickly find out that these also aren't any ordinary patients, but actually Vanessa and Gregory, both agents of Glitchtrap. And that gives the stories they tell whole new meaning, since we know they aren't themselves, or at least they're not acting on their own accord.
What was that? Did you say the costume is a secret? Why is that?
I can't talk about this. He said he would always be watching. He could be here, or there, or anywhere in between.
And later on, one of the therapists actually does end up confronting 46 about his past trauma and how none of what he stated in his file actually seems to be true.
Wanna guess what I found out when I looked into the tragedy of your past? All that stuff about your parents? You aren't even gonna look at me? Fine. You can look at the floor all you want. But it won't change the fact that none of what you said in your file about your parents was true.
So, that's it. The story's made up then. For the most part. While it might not apply to any of the characters at this point in the timeline, I think it does belong to someone. I think these tapes are giving us glimpses into the origins of William Afton. Hear me out. I think the custody battle was over William Afton. I think the fear he felt, the guilt, the remorse, the agony that Afton's father, Bill, had put him and his mother through may have, at some point, eventually come back to haunt William, manifesting as a shadow creature. I've taken my meds, I promise. I say this because in the Five Nights character encyclopedia on page 18, Shadow Freddy's page, there's a little section at the bottom that reads, "So, who is he? We don't know much about him. Will he turn out to be a crucial character in the ongoing mythology of Five Nights at Freddy's? Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell." Okay, it doesn't say all that, but considering these black shadowy creatures spawn from agony and dark remnant, it shouldn't be too much of a stretch to assume that one night, in a dark bedroom, illuminated by nothing but his flashlight, he saw it. Darker than the darkness, staring back at him, a three-dimensional shadow with two white pinpricks for eyes. And ever since he first encountered it, he had begun to develop a fascination and an obsession with the paranormal. For years, he had felt like death was hunting him down, but now, for the first time in a long time, he saw hope in a world of inevitable demolition, something greater than life, a gift. Who knows what he'd be capable of if he claimed it for himself? Could he save life? Could he cheat death? He needed to know, and eventually after founding two relatively successful businesses, he would, with the extra money raked in by the overwhelming success of Fredbear's going to fund William Afton's research. It's then we get to the FNaF 4 experiment. He designed several observation rooms that mimicked his childhood home, and then planned to use drugs and contraptions to scare and torment the subject as much as possible. The hope was that this would generate enough dark remnant and agony to form something tangible again, something he could experiment with. But of course, an experiment is nothing without its subject. Luckily, William Afton is a complete and utter sociopath with next to no empathy for others, especially children. Y'all know where I'm going with this, or so you think. For Michael is actually not his first victim in relation to this experiment. I think his original target was actually Charlie, Henry's daughter. I swear I've taken them. Stop pestering me. Why do I say this? Well, first of all, in the 2 minigames showing Charlie's death, William Afton drives up to the building in his car. From a visual storytelling standpoint, Scott has no reason to hammer in this detail twice if it has no relevance whatsoever. I mean, William Afton owns the place. They don't need to establish that he moves. And second of all, the books. Since I'm cooler than your average FNaF Redditor, I'm not going to go off about the books. If you read them, you know. I think William Afton was originally going to use Charlie for his experiments, hence the car, but the location combined with the screaming, kicking 3-year-old was just too risky, so he killed her. William didn't let this failure deter him, however, as he would later try again with a new kid, Michael Schmidt. Michael would frequently run away to Fredbear's and had grown a love for the characters there. One night, William Afton dresses up as one of the restaurant's mascots, Bonnie, and convinces Michael to break out of his room. Before continuing the video, we would like to take a quick intermission to answer some questions from the previous video. Welcome to the live question answering of the previous comments. Did I know where to fit this into the video? No. But did I say I would? Yes. And I am going to answer all the questions that you have for me, specifically. Question number 1. Immortal and the Restless connection doesn't make sense in the context of your Michael Afton video. And no, it doesn't. It was just a cool thing I added, you know? It was just a really cool connection that I made at the very end for like a nice end thing, but you're right, it doesn't really make much sense. In fact, I actually don't even think it applies to this. Okay, I'm lying. I kind of think it does. I don't know, man. Figure it out. I didn't. You can. Michael calls... Question number 2. Michael literally calls Springtrap father, so he has to be a son. You've never been to a church, have you? Question 3. Michael looks like his father. Yeah, this is a good one. So, like, yes, that is a conception, but he actually never says he looks like his father. He just says, specifically, quote, "They thought I was you." That does not mean he looks like his father. It could be his mannerisms, it could be the way he dresses. If he was, like, fucking manipulated and brainwashed by his father at a very young age, there's no wonder he is mistaken for him. He has like full security clearance in this facility, and it's the fucking darkness. They don't even see his face. Like, William can't wear his Bonnie suit because it's raining and that would trigger the spring lock, so he couldn't have kidnapped Michael. Motherfucker, he has a stitched one. He has a stitched one. Stitched Wraith. And here's one I got personally from a friend. Fuck you, Alex. Why would the passcode for security cameras in 1983... Why would the passcode for security cameras be 1983 if the experiment predates the bite? Finally, the last question I have to answer is the purple car. See, I don't really have an answer for that one either. Look, all your questions are really good. I think the big ones can be explained pretty easily, like Michael probably not actually looking like his father, or, you know, him calling Springtrap father. It could literally just be him doing that. He also has the same accent, and that can just be explained by the fact that accents aren't genetic. The purple car is the only one. It actually made me question. Like, I think for the most part my theory makes a lot of sense, but I think the purple car really does... you're right. The purple car is something. It's something. But then again, the entire color scheme of Midnight Motorist is purple. So, you know, I'm answering these questions live. I didn't script this. You want to fucking get a look at this. I was such an asshole to myself that I just wrote down the questions and I didn't write down any answers. I'm supposed to answer these live. God, past Nick is a dick. What the fuck, man? Note to script writer Nick. Fucking don't do this to me, man. Anyways, back to the video. William obviously drugged Michael and used him for his experiments, blah blah blah, everybody knows this, so we're just gonna shoot that aside for now. The real question everyone wants to know is, was he successful? Well, let's see. Yes. Do I need to explain myself? Black, check. Ghostly, check. Paranormal behavior, yep. This is Michael's agony coming to a climax at the end of the experiment and manifesting as a shadowy version of Fredbear. I don't think it's a coincidence that this nightmare appears after the bite. I mean, throughout the minigames, you can see his bullying ramp up, most likely due to him having so much pent-up emotions after the experiment, or after each night of the experiment, as I think they happen in between the minigames. And I think at some point, the agony comes to a climax. That is right after the bite, right after the culmination of everything William Afton's pretty much done, coming back to literally fucking bite him. And then after that, obviously, Michael's agony manifests into Shadow Freddy, which I also think could have even been William Afton's agony as well. I think it probably builds on itself, similar to how it kind of does in FNaF AR. And well, now that William Afton's trials have concluded, you can see how the results of this experiment would set everything else into motion. The missing children incident, sister location, circus babies, pizza world, Springtrap, the list goes on. This video is messy, but thank you for watching it, and please haunt and like the subscribe buttons if you liked my FNaF. Thank you for watching this video. Please haunt the like and subscribe buttons for me if you mind, and if you like FNaF games, please check out my Fangam and Game Jolt while you're at it. And with all that said, peace out.